They shoot the shit. They shoot the shit. Shoot, shit. Shooting the shit with Chippa.
Welcome back, everybody, to Shooting the Shit with Chippa. I'm here with a couple of very special guests. You might know them from the Adventure Incorporated podcast, which is a D&D podcast. This is Mike Ellison and Stephanie Crugnola. Hopefully I got that right.
Yeah.
Close enough?
Yeah.
All right. How's it actually pronounced?
It's Crugnola.
Crugnola. I should ask you first.
And it's like lasagna.
Anyway. There you go. Anyway, we're off to a great start. So Mike is a really close friend of mine from college, and Stephanie I've never met. So Stephanie, introduce yourself.
I'm Stephanie.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Oh, I mean, that's it, really.
Yeah, that's it. Oh gosh, this is so much pressure. I don't know anything about myself. I teach high school English. I used to be a figure skater. And
Nice.
I love Shakespeare.
That's perfect.
Basically, that's it.
Where are you from?
So I was born in Massachusetts, grew up in Minnesota, back to Massachusetts, Rhode Island, London, Denver, and now Austin.
How did you meet this guy right here that I'm looking at smiling?
College.
Yeah.
So where in college?
In Massachusetts.
Yeah, Framingham
State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I had forgotten about that portion of your college.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So Chippa and I know each other from UMass Lowell.
Oh, okay.
The first time I went to college.
I'm sitting there going, crap, do I know Stephanie? And I'm just going to make myself look like a complete ass on the air.
No, it would make sense, though. I was very antisocial.
She was at wiffle ball like all the time.
Definitely not.
So she was the one setting the tree on fire.
Yeah.
Closer.
Yeah.
And that's why the tree never set on fire, because she wasn't actually there.
Right.
Okay, makes sense. Because you never won. And
no, not by the tree setting on fire.
Correct.
Right. There were plenty of wiffle ball games where I feel like I won, regardless of the final score.
Yeah, I think everybody always felt like they won, regardless of the final score. It's usually by like how much you were bleeding.
Right. Or
which in my case was a lot. You know that scar? I still got that friggin' scar. Do you remember that? When we jumped over the softball fence on South Campus to play wiffle ball, and I just took a gainer before we even started playing.
Yep, sure do. Now I do.
Oh, that sucked,
dude. Like so many of those stories from the UMass Lowell times are. Do you remember the time we jumped that fence? Do you remember the time we got that scar?
Do you remember the time we were naked?
Right. Do you remember the time we bled all over X thing?
My favorite part of these stories is I'll preempt my friends without telling them that, because I drink beer and and party and stuff like that in college, but I tell them these stories and go, and this was with my straight edge friends.
Yeah.
And they go like, wait a minute, what? And I go, no, seriously, not a single person in the group.
Yeah, all of this was fucking stone cold sober.
Stone cold sober, and they're like, really? You convinced people in public to change clothes with you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, I met him after that.
She seems very proud of that, actually. Yeah. He got that out of his system, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you know me, Chippa. Like, some of that stuff stays in your system at least 7 years.
Well, the crazy thing, the crazy thing is my wife is still with me, and she was there for all of this.
Yeah, right.
Wow,
dude, I will never forget one of those shows at Fox Common where she was like, "Oh, let's chicken fight."
Oh, yeah.
And so Chris jumped on my shoulders, and she tried to jump on your shoulders the same way.
Oh.
Yep.
And I mean, you're so tall. And
oh, my God.
So not tall.
No, she's 4'9". Or 11.
And, I mean, that's like on a great day, 4'11". Like,
yeah, she's tiny.
Right off your back. Just splayed out. Obviously, Chris and I acted like we won.
Of course.
Fights,
Of
but
course.
like, It felt more like a DQ.
Yeah, we had way too much fun. She did much better at the wheelbarrow races.
Yes, yes. These were all during punk shows. So there were kids trying to like have a regular punk mosh pit around us while we just kind of bogarted the whole space to do whatever we wanted.
Oftentimes, Mike was dressed in a banana costume.
Yeah, cool.
Sure.
I would have been so stressed. I would have been. We go to shows now, and I just stand in the very, very far back as there is
And
back.
you just laugh hysterically at Mike.
If I can see him.
So that's a funny story. 'Cause since my thing's all about tangents, we in college near the end, I went to a show at a Coheed and Cambria show at the Palladium, and I went with Al and Mike. I think you were already there. Like you didn't go with me and Al, and I don't think I knew you were there. So there's one song where like, you know, the whole room just goes nuts and then it breaks down. And there's the Dear Claudio, oh, and I look out and Mike is on someone's shoulders in the middle of the pit, pointing at me and singing it. And I'm like, oh, cool, Mike's here.
I thought you were going to tell the story of the time we saw Less Than Jake at the Hatch Shell in Boston.
Oh, that's a good one too.
And at one point, we had gotten separated. And then in the span of 15 seconds, I was riding you around the mosh pit. And then all of a sudden, you were carrying me like a baby.
Yep.
And no one knows. Like it was like smash cuts, right? Like there was no transition between those three things.
No.
They were just scenes that like got mashed together in the editing room of all of our brains.
Cool.
The best thing about that Less Than Jake show at the Hatch Shell was I had never met Al until like a year later, but I knew all of you guys. And Al meets me at, I think it was before the Loon and Buggy had ever played a show. So it must have just been in their dorm room. And he goes, you look really familiar. Hold on. And he goes in his room and comes out and he brings out his camera and he's going through and he's got a photo of the circle pit at the Less Than Jake show. And he zooms in and there's me, like, you know, half skank, like running around in the corner. And he's like, is this you? I was like, yeah. And that was great.
But yeah.
So college was a good time.
Right. So Chippa and I were from college one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was college two in the middle where I had to recover from all the shit that we did in college one. And then I was ready for college three, which is where I met Steph.
So you did, hold on. So was college three grad school?
No, college three was years 3 through 6 of undergrad.
Gotcha. I can never, because I know that you kept like resetting what you were doing.
Yeah.
And that was cool. But I can't remember if you ever finished one and then just say, you know what, I want more of this crap.
No. Basically, by the time I got done, I was like, I never want to do this again.
Take me far away.
Right.
God, it's the polar opposite of college for me, which was not loud or dangerous in any way. And I got done and I said, I can't wait to do more of this.
And so you teach.
Yes. I taught for a few years and then I went and got my master's and then I went back to teaching. So
congratulations. Mike, you're in a master's degree sandwich right now on my screen because you're in between me and Stephanie.
That's sweet. Right. What's your master's in?
Mechanical engineering.
Oh.
Yep. Yep. Don't hold that against me.
No, I
swear I'm really cool.
Hey, man.
No, I believe it.
Yeah, I'm sitting next to an early modern English major. So, sorry, master is what I mean to say.
The master of early modern English?
Yes, early modern English literature, text and transmission.
You'd actually get along. You'd probably get along with Sarah really well. We're all going to have to meet. Yeah. Sarah's crazy into that stuff.
That's awesome.
Books.
Yeah, books.
Crazy into fucking English, the language.
Dude, yeah, the language. You ever heard of it? Yeah. So Cool. Now I know how you and Stephanie met, and now I know how the world knows that you met. But both of you, give me an idea of how, like, the road to Adventure Incorporated, like how to, because I'm hoping to have some of the other guys on this at some point too.
Sure.
But how do you get there? Like, I read your bios.
Sure.
And so I know a little of it, but I'm not going to make people go Google during my show. So
no, that's fair.
so it's just an interesting thing, because when I started reading, I'm like, wow, people did like improv comedy, and it's like that makes complete sense to do a D&D podcast. That's hilarious. But how do you get there?
So basically, a buddy of ours was having a pretty tough time, and so I hit up our DM, Anthony, and I was like, hey dude, we need to do like a Skype show or like a Skype D&D game.
So you guys already had a D&D game going?
No.
Okay, because I also refer to my friend who's our DM as our DM, like, all the time, even in the group of friends. I wasn't sure if you were like, oh, we were already playing, and I just told him, okay, cool.
No, yeah. So
stepping back.
Yeah, Anthony's a buddy of ours, and so I hit him up one day, and I was like, hey man, we got a pal who's going through a tough time, so I can't physically be there because I'm in Austin. You can't physically be there because you're north of Portland, Maine, right?
Jesus.
But I want to play a game of D&D with him to like lift his spirits a little. He's homebound. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Like we gotta do something for him. And so Anthony goes, I'm only doing it if it's all of the old improv crew. So we were all in improv in college together.
Including Stephanie.
Yes.
So you mean everybody on the show?
Yeah.
Basically. Okay.
And so we all did improv together, and he was like, that's the only crew that I would play a game with on the internet, is like the people that I care most about from college.
Because it's an investment of time, right?
Right. And he's like, but our fucking friends, they're never going to make it a commitment unless we're doing something with it. And so he goes, let me think on it. And like, I don't hear from him for months. And meantime, I'm listening to the Adventure Zone, the McElroy boys, their show. And Anthony is also listening to the McElroy boys show. And so we're talking with each other, and he's like, this is the way that we could do this, is we could do a D&D show, and that would force people to show up because they would have to record.
Yeah.
And he goes, I mean, ultimately it's just going to be a game for us anyway, but we don't need to tell them that. And so, like, what was your, like...
So we were all friends in college. We all did improv together. Mike and I dated in college and then weren't dating anymore. And so we were all kind of like friends for the 7 years in between, but not like friends that I would expect to get a random message that says, hey, do you want to be part of our D&D podcast? I had never played D&D before in my life. I had never heard a game of D&D or seen it or experienced it. Like, my knowledge of D&D was Doritos and fucking Mountain Dew in mom's basement. Like, that's
right.
The only idea of it that I had. And I was like, do I? So it's so random to hear from Mike, and like we chatted, we were friends, but it was a very like out of the blue message to get. But it was great because these are all people that I really cared about and really missed being active friends with, because we were all over the country. And so I was like, sure, cool. And I am really bad at game rules. I have some sort of processing issue that I can't understand them. I'll read them and I'll read the same sentence over and over and over again. And I don't know what it said when it comes to rules and menus. So I started.
It sounds like there's a story there, but the way Mike just giggled, rules and menus.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like a wall of words.
Gum chicken.
No, routinely, if I know we're going someplace that she hasn't been, I will send her the menu ahead of time, so that she can look it over and be prepared, like
little
study.
bits at a time.
Right.
This feels so familiar to me.
Well, especially because in Austin, everything is like a truck, or you stand in a line and you wait, and then you get up to the front of the line and then you order.
And then you're put on the spot.
Right.
I get it. That and anyone that has any sort of social anxiety or anything like that just shuts off. I get it.
Yeah. There needs to be prep work done for like at least 50% of the population, right? And
yeah, so, at least.
And so that's the giggle behind it all, is knowing like, oh, we're going to breakfast 2 days from now. Let me shoot you over the link to their like Facebook menu or whatever, right?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Hey, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
No, you're good. It just we started playing, and I kind of figured it out as you've heard it. Yeah.
No,
what I was doing.
And it's cool because I like that about it. You know, I think I've listened to straight through the first 30 episodes is about as far as I got. And then my phone in my car, and I was listening to them every week. And now I just decided after missing a bunch that I just started at episode like 140. And I'm like, I'm just going to jump in here and see where my friends are at. Perfect. And I'll catch up if I have to, because it's fantastic. But the thing that kind of broke me is when I got into you guys, I hadn't been podcasting yet. I had been on other people's shows. So I got into my brother got me into it. He set me up with a Patreon. So then I went and found Anthony's Patreon. And the craziest thing is I had figured he or somebody in this group had just been doing this forever because of how professional it all sounds. Oh. And I know, and again, just having not done podcasting and realized how, just getting people with a good rapport is 90% of the game. Sure. Right. Then I sat there and I'm like, man, it amazed me. And then I looked and I'm like, oh, I got to become a patron of this guy because I saw there weren't a ton of patrons.
Right.
I mean, you guys are doing all right, but I'm like, they should have way more than this. No, I mean that. It's not just because you're on here. And pass that back to him. It's like I've turned a lot of people onto it. They think it's hilarious. The white American thing. I nearly crashed my car. I laughed so hard at that.
People are drinking those.
I know. I actually tried one.
Oh my God!
It's disgusting.
No!
It's disgusting.
Why?
I was actually going to drink it while on the air with you tonight, and that's just to make you. It's the fucking grossest thing in the world,
oh
and
God, it's terrible.
It's the funniest damn joke because it's a great piece of improv. Like it just broke me. You know what I mean? Because it's just so totally you. But all I could picture after you said it was the milkshake challenge.
Right. I was gonna say like so much of the shit that like Gebetto specifically does is based on like dumb shit that we used to do in college, right? Like, how do I apply these like past experiences that either me, you, PRC, Al, whoever has had into this group dynamic and see what happens with it, right? The white American was a thing that Chris and I used to try to get people to drink at parties.
I see.
Did you call it that?
Funnier.
Yeah.
That's even.
Oh,
funnier.
I feel like that's cheating. Nope, I hate it. I hate it now. I thought it was improv. I thought it was made up. Now we know he's just reusing all his old jokes.
Oh, it's still pretty goddamn funny.
Well,
greatest hits. Just mail it in. Let's go.
Huh.
Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to put. Sorry, internet. No, but it, and so Stephanie, is that my wife had a really good time. My wife and I, we had never played D&D before, and back right after college, we were in a weekly game, and I find, especially if you have a good group of people, because it's only as fun or as not fun as the people you're playing with.
For sure.
Instead of like some games where the rules are a little bit more, like the rules of
Crunchy
D&D
or
are
whatever.
big, but they're very forgiving.
Yeah.
If you have the right person running the game.
Right.
Whereas, if you're playing, some like really intense card or tabletop board game with someone, no, the rules are the rules and you fucked up and people get into arguments over it.
Yeah.
So I found that for a novice, it's a lot easier to jump in because the DM does so much of the work or can do so much of the work for you. Like, oh no, this is how you do that. But God, I can't imagine playing it remotely for the first time.
Well, we didn't have video either, so it was all audio.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
For the first year or so, because Anthony lives north of Portland, Maine, which, as you know, as a New Englander, they're basically, I'm saying Anthony lives in a hut.
There be dragons there.
Right.
Yeah.
They bring the internet to him once weekly in a cart.
No, it's on a crank.
Right.
He's
yeah.
gotta...
If he stops hand cranking, he loses connection. Right.
Right. And at that point, it's only 28.8 anyway.
Right.
So
like the idea of doing video, he was like, I can't do that because it will slow down my internet to the point that I can't
I'm serious. It's kind of blowing my mind to hear all of this because from the beginning, I think there were episodes in maybe that first 10 or 20 where on one of them, I think he had to go to the backup audio and he was so apologetic for how it sounded. And I'm like, this show sounds great, like all the time. So is that where the journal idea came from? Because it was your first time playing through?
I don't think it was necessarily that as like I am a note taker. Just I have to write everything down because that's the kind of weirdo I am. I just like having that extra thing to do to write, to take notes as things are happening.
Yeah.
And I think that story-wise, I didn't really know what I was getting into. So to help keep track of world and character, because everything was so foreign to me, having notes for myself was an important thing for me to be able to keep on track just in case I forgot everything.
It's the only way I can play. My character sheets are just, they look like a cheat sheet for an exam.
Well, so yeah, I remember, I think it was one of our session zeros because we had those, right? Like the expectation setting meeting, right? And
of course, yeah, you don't want to do that on the air.
Right. And so we had a bunch of these and Steph was like, what can I do that will help everyone that needs to be done and nobody wants to do? Because I want to contribute even though I'm not super comfortable on how to play the game. And I just offhand was like, I always wish somebody would take notes in a game.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yes, please. Because I never take notes.
No, you are a shoot from the hip, personified. Actually,
from fucking grade school up to now, even at work, I'll go into meetings and people will be like, "You gonna take notes for this?" Oh, no, I'm not. I'm just not.
I graduated high school 15 years ago, and I still have notebooks from my classes.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
Okay, cool, good.
So
you're talking to a fellow crazy person, as far as that's concerned.
I need you lunatics because
no, I think this is why Mike and I get along so well, is because parts of my personality are very similar, but it's like I need that. It's like the little mischievous Loki on your shoulder being like, just stop thinking every once in a while, asshole. You know what I mean? Just have fun. Why can't you just have fun?
What if you were just in it?
Yeah.
What if you just let go a little bit? Nope, you pushed it too far.
I mean,
I don't know what that means.
The only reason I ever went in mosh pits was because of Mike, because he showed me that they could be fun. Because I'm a big guy, right? And I was an even bigger guy in college. Me jumping into a mosh pit at 22 years old with a bunch of 15-year-olds, I'm gonna hurt somebody. So he was like, "No, just dance, have a good time, dude." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, we can do this. Great. I like this way better."
Yeah. No, Mike has definitely done the same for me. Just do this. stop being a baby. The old you would have.
I had a situation like that with Sarah, with my wife, and I actually don't even know if Mike was aware of this because this was after our time where we were at the Songus Arena at a Dropkick Murphys show. And they do there, for our last song, we're going to get every woman in the crowd to jump up on stage. And they sing Kiss Me, I'm Shit-Faced, and it's hilarious and whatever. And all of her friends who, are like all in the pits the whole time, girls of, a foot taller than her stature, right, are not going anywhere near it. And I go, come here. And I put my arms around her and ran through the damn crowd got her 5 people from the stage. And I said, okay, I can't go any closer. It's on you. And she disappeared. And I'm like, oh crap. I just killed my wife. And then I see the security guy pick her up and help her, give her one hand and help her up onto the stage. And she's the only one of her friends that made it up there. And I'm like, yeah.
That's amazing.
It's so outside of her comfort zone.
Right.
And it made me so happy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Was she appreciative after?
Oh, absolutely. But
that's kind of peer pressure, baby. That's it. There it is.
But we, that was not that long ago. So, we're all in the, early 30s. Right. She wakes up the next day and goes, I can't walk. I am not doing that again. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Dude, I constantly forget how old I am.
Yeah.
I saw Thursday. They came around on a 20th anniversary tour. Apparently, they've been a band for 20 years. If you want to feel fucking old.
If you think back on it, yeah, they have.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I wrote a paper on one of their songs in high school, so that makes sense.
Oh, no.
Right.
Oh, no.
And so I went to...
Shit.
I went and they played Full Collapse front to back. And
oh man, so you went red and then forgot where you were.
Right. I acted like I was 17 again. I am 34. I am not 17. My back reminded me the next day that I am not 17.
Yep.
Whoops.
And then you find out what it's like to be crippled for a week.
Yeah, it was not.
But then you go and do it again.
I was going to say, they played again 2 nights later, and I was there again. Someone in the crowd said, you're the only person from both nights still dancing.
I'm going to see Streetlight Manifesto in December, and I am 100% ready to not be moving the next day.
I took Steph to see Streetlight.
That was a great example of Mike being wherever he was in the front, and I was just chilling with the soundboard.
Yeah. Yep.
Hanging out, watching. The light tech was actually phenomenal. Because I've done light stuff for.
Oh, that's wicked cool.
So watching her live program was amazing. Also, the show was amazing. But
yeah, they're an incredibly good live band.
Yeah.
They're one of my favorite live shows because they're out of their minds.
Yeah, it was great.
I feel like I really took them for granted when I lived in Massachusetts because we got to see them so often.
Yeah.
They never toured not the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, there's a guy who's making a documentary about ska called Pick It Up, Ska in the 90s. And he's also making the movie about the last Blockbuster.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm
that interview, by the way, was amazing.
Oh, wasn't it great, dude? Did you hear the one I did with her son?
No, I haven't.
Her assistant store manager. I did. Yeah, he's pretty awesome too.
That's great. No, I loved how clearly, because I've always known how much you loved Blockbuster, right? You were the only 18-year-old I knew with a full-time management job while also going to college.
That was me.
Right. And it wasn't even like you were ever mad about it.
No, I loved it.
Every time you left hanging out to go do work, you were like, no, I like it. And none of us understood the idea of liking work.
Yeah, that's still the only job I've ever liked that much. It's funny. On Monday, the meeting has been upgraded by the host and now includes unlimited something or other.
Woo! Yeah, it's free now.
Whatever that means.
Oh, a gift from Zoom.
Yeah.
A gift from Zoom?
Yeah, Zoom gave us.
We need a
Thank
wink
you,
after
Zoom.
that.
Right.
Thanks, Zoom.
Yeah, we have to call it. That's what it is. They go, oh, we anticipate that whatever this is going to get lots of views.
Right. Big time
Thanks, Zoom. They must be looking at my YouTube history.
Right.
They're like, oh, he just posted something about Endgame with his brother that got 1,000 views. Quick. Oh man. So yeah, no, finding those guys and them having time to talk to me. And, it's cool because that's why I like doing this.
Yeah.
I can just go and kind of talk with people and people like to listen to it. I hope you guys are having fun because I'm having a blast.
Dude.
Duh. Yeah. So okay. So where the hell were we? We were talking about Streetlight. We were talking about how you leave your girlfriend all alone at concerts. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
She leaves.
I leave him all alone.
No, I believe me. I know my Sarah will do that. She'll look at me like standing next to her, just dancing in a circle, and she'll go, "Okay, go ahead." Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I can see the.
Right.
I can see the want and the need start, and I'm like, oh, you want me to hold your jacket?
Every time I put my hand out to try and get her to come with, and every time she's like,
I'm just so.
Well, I think she understands something that we never did, where this could end badly for you.
Well, there was one time where he was crowd surfing.
I'm just kidding.
I was so frightened. I hate crowd surfing. It makes me so nervous.
I've had Mike land on my head a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people don't land on their feet.
But it's usually like I turn around and I'm like, oh, cool, it's Mike. There's a sweaty Mike on my back. All right.
Well, so yeah. In college we used to joke, right? Like no comeuppance.
Yes.
And I've never felt that is more true than at a show.
Right.
Like I've never felt more invincible, ever, than when I'm at a punk show.
It's weird. It's weird. Yeah. Well, because if something happens, people are going to help you. That's the other cool thing. They're not going to leave you to die like at a hardcore show.
I mean,
sorry, a specific type, like a hate breed show.
There's good guys in that scene too.
Yes, no, me too.
So, have you seen the show Deadly Class?
No.
Oh, Chippa! It's Murder High School set to an '80s punk soundtrack, and it's on Sci-Fi. And it's
all right, I'm watching it.
Fucking fun.
It sounds great.
There is a scene near the end of the first season where they capture a mosh pit so perfectly, as far as the spirit of it. All the people, the actors dancing in it are, they're actors in a mosh pit. They're not actually doing it, right? But the way they describe it is perfect.
That's awesome.
And so highly recommended, if only for that one scene.
Dude, I'll watch it. I like recommendations. Sit
through 9 episodes of a show just for a 40-second clip of a mosh pit to the adolescents. Worth it.
I think that sounds worth it. Hell, dude, I watched Power Rangers RPM the other day because someone told me to watch it, and you know what? It was actually pretty fucking good. Dude, have you heard of this?
No.
The new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show, which is still just, taking the old clips of the Sentai shows, exists in a post-apocalyptic Mad Max style world where the main character is this Mad Max guy who's half robot, and it's actually filmed really well.
I love that.
It's so fucking weird. It's on Netflix. I watch it and I go, what's happening right now?
Hell yeah.
Why do I like this?
Right. Yeah.
A lot, actually. Which is weird. I've watched 4 episodes of it. No shame.
Is that what this episode is about now? It's just us talking about Power Rangers?
No. It was just, it was fun.
No, let's.
So no. No, we can do another episode. We should do another show about that. No, but let's you were talking about as the tangent circles full.
Right.
It was Stephanie's first time playing D&D. You did the pre-recording shows, and then how I mean, this is like a 159 episode show now, so right, 159 weeks of chaos later.
Yeah.
Like how I can't remember because the format I feel like changed. It was it always 3-hour long episodes, or did I just have that much time to spend that I didn't pay attention?
No, so we have always released about an hour at least every week.
Yes.
We try to do between an hour and an hour and a half.
That's my format too.
We have hit a couple giant size episodes, like the old X-Men giant size issues once a year or so. Like our yearly finale episodes tend to be longer. Because we kind of want to give that like end beat, right? Anthony's really good at setting up arcs that take.
Oh, dude, his hosting is insane. He's just got the right voice for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Is so good, and his like his ability to craft a story that takes. He goes at our session 0. He goes, "This is a 5-year arc, just so you know."
Yeah, that was like playing with my buddy Paul. And he's like, "So I've got this book," and I'm like, "What the shit?"
Right. He goes, "I just anticipate this taking 5 years to get through what I have in my head, give or take a little bit."
So it's 5 years, season 1.
Yeah.
Yes. Which
that's what I figured.
I'm like, I don't even know if I like playing this. Like, okay.
Right. Commit to 5 years doing this thing you've never done.
I did commit to 5 years doing this thing I had never done, and I love it.
See, that's what I was hoping to hear. I had not heard you say that quite yet. I get.
Don't get me wrong. I
get the feeling from listening through the show, like Mike. Your character just dove in because that's what you do. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, but it was listening to you. Now that you mentioned that you weren't comfortable with it at first, it makes even more sense. Listening to your character become more confident, like as those first few episodes went down, of like, oh wait, she's pulling out some crazy shit now. Like, you get all, instead of it being like, okay, I'm still learning. And I like that. I love listening to people learn because I learned recently too. So it's like, I was just at PAX East and I got pulled into a one-off game at Dwarven Forge. Have you seen the shit that Dwarven Forge makes?
Unbelievable.
And so we got to play on like with their crafter, the guy that builds the stuff was the DM for the game we played. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
And he was an Anthony level DM. He's, all the voices, all the, more like see, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the world.
That was all computery.
Oh, sorry. Where did I stop talking?
He was Anthony level DM.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, and you could just, it transported me out of where I was. Like, someone with pen and paper can do that, but there's something about like in the actual dungeon with like the light up flames on the wall and the traps, and I'm like, now I can actually see, and it was awesome.
That's so. It
was awesome.
I've always wanted to see like the really complex Dwarven Forge stuff in person.
It was unbelievable.
Like, it's so bananas, and the way the like pieces like move out of the way so that you can like explore different sections of it or whatever. Like,
I want that. Cool. I want to play like that because I have trouble visualizing. So like, I think that's part of the notes too have helped me with that, just to keep record of it. But like, it's tough for me to, I don't know, just that visualization of it. So like playing with actual castles or whatever would be really, really fun.
Yeah. We play in another game weekly where the DM uses mats, like play mats.
Yep.
Like draws out on.
It makes battle much easier. But also like playing a sorcerer is really great because I don't ever have to move or do anything.
Right, you don't have to.
As far away as possible and just pew, 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 pew.
Until you get into that crazy battle they have you guys in on the current arc.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, the frustration in the, they're still 2 football fields away? Oh, crap.
Yeah. No, don't make me move.
I heard that from Mike so many times. So I'm going to run and stab that guy. You mean the 2 guys that are actually close to you, not the guy you're trying.
Right.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, so Anthony set up that massive battle because he was like, okay, when was the last time we actually rolled dice on this show? Like, and all of us were like, I don't fucking remember. Like, and he goes, okay, cool. And that's all he mentioned. And then 3 weeks later, he's like, great. This is episode 1 of a 2-episode battle. The second episode will be 3 hours. So
wow.
So basically he had planned out all of this drama to coincide into this massive battle. But listening to players play a battle can be really fucking boring.
Yes, it can.
And so he's like, okay, for a player, it's super fun to have a long combat. For a listener, it's hell. And so he's like, how do I marry those 2 things together? And so he built this whole structure behind the scenes of how this war was going to play out and different mechanics for the war, where we would be interspersing bits of action round by round into
with actual character stuff.
Right.
The flavor of this war.
I always like how it's not leading, because some DMs lead and it's obvious. With him, it's the choices that I hear him give you guys is always it gives you an opportunity to improv and be character. Okay, so you guys are entering the battle. How are you entering the battle? It's we're going to stand at each other's backs in the freaking Avengers, and the camera is just going to sweep around us. I remember, and he goes, camera? Yeah, the camera's going to sweep around us. Just all right, this is awesome.
Yep.
Right, because there was my favorite Anthony going with the flow moment has to have been, we fought a corrupted angel.
I've listened to this one.
And Rob, our druid, says, yeah, and I push him into the popcorn cart. And Anthony goes, yeah, all right. And the popcorn goes fucking everywhere. And
that's when you know you have the best DM.
Right. We're in the middle, our whole show is this clearly high fantasy world with castles and moats and horse-drawn carriages
and popcorn carts.
Right, and a fucking popcorn cart in the middle of a monastery.
We had in my buddy Steve's game, he had this ale house or inn that we always ended up at. And the very first time he goes, you start at the Inn of the 7 Chimneys. And every time we'd get lost, in the game, or it'd be a long time, he goes, and you guys awake and the dust settles, and in front of you is an inn that looks very familiar, except now it's the Inn of 6 Chimneys. You're unsure of what's happened here. And it's just it was always a lot of fun. Because and then you look in the sky and count 3 chimneys. Oh God, what happened to these poor people?
What are we doing?
My favorite Anthony go with the flow. My favorite kind of move like that is that one of our main characters, our main NPCs, was basically born out of bullying Anthony.
Yep.
Because we had needed some random person with detect magic to check our rooms or whatever. So this guy comes in, says it's great or whatever, and goes to leave. And well, what's his name? What's his last name? What does he do? Who is he here? And he is, I think, one of our top 3 NPCs.
Easily. Yeah. He might be, I mean, he's definitely a listener favorite because the listeners all know that we just invented him out of whole cloth.
Yep.
And forced Anthony to bring him back time and time again.
Yeah.
Until finally he was like, fine, fuckers, if he's that important to you, he's going to be that important to the story. Fuck you. Deal with it.
And now this is going to go on for 7 years because you're going to go back to his hometown and learn all about his family for a month.
Oh my God, can you imagine? His parents
run a cult that my parents joined. What a dick.
Yep.
He didn't even exist before.
Oh, what has science done?
Yeah, we did all this work to create Clyde Harper, but did we ever think if we should?
Yeah.
And now Jeff Goldblum is in the show.
Right.
Okay.
Why not?
Cool.
No.
Yep, I'm in.
Keep your pants on.
Me too. And he won't be wearing a shirt, and there'll be a constant stream of oil pouring all over his chest. Dude,
Jeff Goldblum just isn't thick enough for me.
Did you? Yeah, I feel you there.
I just want him to have a little,
I mean, I think I think that did it for Stephanie for the night. She's all set now. Woohoo, Jeff Goldblum. No, so I had never seen Jurassic Park on a big screen because it came out when I was like 8.
Sure.
And my mother was going to take me and my brother, and I had heard it was so scary I didn't want to go. So I never got to see it. So we had only seen it on video after that. So when the 3D one came out, it was awesome to see it. But man, 3D Jeff Goldblum chest just heaving at the screen. I'm like, holy crap.
Dude, he was swole when he was younger.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have a dog.
Yeah, we've got a 60-pound sweet baby.
That's awesome. Oh, I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. Hero.
That's awesome.
Named after hero protagonist from Snow Crash.
Abso-freaking-lutely. One of my favorite books.
Same.
Have you ever listened to the audiobook of it? It's fantastic.
No, is it good? I bet it is.
It's real good.
That rules.
That's such a freaking good book. God, I wasn't expecting to hear Snow Crash come up tonight. Holy crap. We were making a joke yesterday about if they ever adapt that into a movie, if they have to beat Robert Rodriguez away from wanting to direct it because it involves underage girls and that was just a terrible, terrible thing.
Also, I think they have to go back in time to get Keanu from in between Point Break and The Matrix. That's the only person I can picture playing hero protagonist.
How did a book written in 1982 predict the massively multiplayer online RPG world?
Right. What? Oh, what a great book.
It really is. I recommend it to everybody because somebody recommended it to me 2 years ago, and I'm like, why have I never read this?
I bought it for Steph for Christmas one year.
Did she read it?
Look at her face.
I can't see her face. That's a no. Oh, there she is. She was looking the other way.
Christmas, but I sent it to her.
No.
I'll check my Amazon orders later because I know I sent it to you.
It's just still sitting there.
Right, yeah. in Providence, Rhode Island, in a post office box just waiting to be picked up. Gathering dust. One tear drips from the corner of the book's eye.
So you had said you guys weren't together when you started doing this podcast again?
It's true.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No. I don't. There's nothing it's just so. Were you, Steph? Were you in Texas? Where were you when you guys started recording?
I was in Providence.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, how long had you guys been doing the show before you ended up back in, or what did you end up in Austin? What happened?
So I did a year of the show in Providence, a year of the show in Denver, and now I've done a year of the show in Austin.
Jesus. The show's been on for 3 years?
Three time zones, baby.
Yeah, we haven't missed a week. 159 episodes divided by 52.
Right. So I've been doing mine for 2 years. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This will be the 67th podcast I've done.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
Feels good, right?
It feels awesome.
Yeah.
And this is a good one. I like this because this is super relaxed and I'm getting to catch up with people. And if people don't want to listen to it, I really don't care.
But yeah, so
yeah, D&D.
What was it? 2 years ago? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
2 years ago this weekend.
Yeah.
I was going home for Easter, and I flew into Boston, but was flying out of Providence because it was cheaper. And so we were talking about it in recording one night, and Steph goes, "Oh, well, just like come crash at my place. I'll blow up the air mattress. Like, you can hang out." And I was like, "Yeah, okay."
For context, I live 15 minutes away from the Providence airport, and Mike's house is 3 hours away from the Providence airport, and his flight was at 7 a.m. It was a completely practically motivated.
You know, the more you say it,
I was about to say, because to me, come on over, I'll blow up the air mattress. Sounds like a pickup line.
right? That's what I'm
No,
trying to say.
No, I'm just fucking
blew up the air
around.
mattress, and he has not stopped giving me shit for it for 2 years.
It's true. It's true. It's all true.
He
So-
walks in and he's like, "You blew up
Thank
the air
you.
mattress."
Thank you for that. But so,
I didn't see him in like 3 years,
at least,
at least, maybe more.
So the plan is that we'll meet at this bar in downtown Providence. For a guy who doesn't drink, I fucking love hanging out at bars.
So that was going to be something I've noticed since you leaving, that I started getting worried. Not that I care, because you're my friend. You could do what you want. But I started seeing pictures of you in bars a lot, and I'm always like, shit. Like, not that, like, shit, did somebody force Mike to break? I'll kill him.
Hell no, edge till death, baby. But like, I love hanging out at bars. I like the atmosphere at a bar, and I think this has always been true for all of us that didn't drink. I have always liked it when people have had a couple of drinks, because then they're more on my level as far as like willingness to do stupid shit.
I get what you mean. You already come with the loosened up bug.
Right.
You've already got it. Yeah, so,
I want everybody else to be having as good a time as I'm having.
right.
It just so happens that usually happens at a bar.
Well, for instance, I have found that I can't drink at shows.
Sure.
Because I don't need it.
Right.
I'm like, I'm already, like, I want to be able to jump around. Like, this is going to stop me from doing that.
See, and I'm at least one drink before a show so
right.
that I can be there.
Which I get as well.
Right.
I get that.
But yeah, so like we meet up at this bar downtown, and she walks in the door, and I'm just like, fuck. Oh my God.
It's a monster.
Yeah, right. No. Very much the opposite. And like everything from college like hit me again all at once, and I was just like, well, great. I'm screwed. I have a huge crush on this person I do this show with. I'm going to ruin this show because I'm definitely going to try to make out with this girl tonight.
Well, if you ever do ruin the show, I'll only ever call you Yoko, Mike.
Perfect.
Well, that's what when we started dating again, Anthony was like, just don't ruin my show.
Oh, Jesus.
He's like, I don't care what you do. Just don't ruin my show.
Oh, I think it'd be hilarious, dude. It's like all of a sudden Genevera and Gemino are just awful to each other. Like, what the fuck? What's going on?
Yeah.
Nah.
It was, it was a very much like just immediately
for sure
new.
That's awesome. And now you guys own a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically for the next year, it was like, okay, cool. You're going to move to Denver. Great. Denver and Austin isn't crazy far.
No.
So we flew back and forth to each other for
holy shit,
a full year.
Yep.
This is a great story.
Like once a month.
It's funny because not that it's just, you know, when you talk to a friend, it's so good that we're all growing up. It's just funny.
Yeah.
It's just funny, and I think it's awesome to hear such a, Mike Ellison settled down, man. That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Not that you ever weren't settled down. I just think you move a little too quick for some people.
I think that's fair. I think as time has gone on, I've slowed down a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. We were at a point where it was like, okay, cool. Let's both be functioning adults.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we can get back into the D&D thing, but what are you both doing in Austin? Like what Mike, what are you doing for work?
So I work for a company called HomeAway. We're a vacation rental website. Verbo is the other like brand that we own. And we basically, if you have a second home, you can rent it on the site to people who are coming to travel.
Oh, all right.
So it's like Airbnb, but for like full houses.
Right.
And so we actually just booked a place for Dragon Con on our site. So we're super excited to head down to Atlanta.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're going to Dragon Con. That's great.
Yeah, it's going to be super good.
Is everybody from the collective going?
Yeah, the whole cast is going. We're hoping hoping to get a couple of panels. We got a big feud with the dudes over at Botched podcast. They're another actual play podcast, but they, suck.
Love them.
Don't listen to them.
No, we love them.
Don't also donate to their Patreon because they definitely suck and we definitely hate them. And Phil's the fucking worst.
Oh gosh.
So
Mike jokes make me so sad.
Mike, see, I know Mike so well that I know exactly what he's saying, and it's the polar opposite of what he's saying. I think because I just saw you guys posting all about how awesome Botch Podcast is.
That's not us. Somebody hacked us. We got hacked. It's reset your Twitter passwords, everybody. There's a hacking going on,
and it's only going after the Adventure Incorporated podcast.
Super weird. It's really targeted. If you follow Adventure Incorporated, make sure you unfollow Botched. And definitely don't go to their panels, but come to ours and hold up signs about how much better we are than Phil, especially.
No, we love Phil.
This is awesome.
But yeah, no, so our plan right now, we submitted a ton of panel ideas. We've got our fingers crossed that a couple of them will land. And if not, we're just going to do the shit that we used to do at other people's shows and make it all about us anyway. We're going to crash the lobby with portable speakers and we're going to do our own show in the lobby. So either way, go and check us out. Also, we're going to go to different game stores in the area and different bars and put on live shows in Atlanta.
I think this is awesome.
So if anybody listens to your show and is in Atlanta and happens to own a game store or manage one and wants Adventure Incorporated podcast to come do a live show at their place, hit us up on the Twitter or the Facebook, or text me 512-920-8402.
Oh boy.
We can make this happen.
This is totally Mike. My social security number
is boobs 800
8008 leet 14.
What?
Pen 15.
Right. Yeah. That's
my password.
Everything right.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's awesome. You're going to Dragon Con. I've been trying to pitch because my brother goes to Aresia and PAX every year.
Sure.
So I've been trying to work out for next year with him to try to do a live taping of The Tangent as a panel.
Hell yeah.
And I'm also trying to do in Salem, Mass, where was the first Blockbuster I worked at. Everybody that I worked with at that store still lives around here, and they've all been on my show. So I'm trying to do a live panel style taping of an episode and pitch it that come see your Blockbuster staff.
I love
that would be so great.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of places interested, a couple of local comic shops and stuff to try to get some sponsorship. Cute. So we'll see if it works.
It's funny that because when we were growing up, right, Blockbuster was ubiquitous.
Yes.
And then we became we got to college and everyone was like, "Buck Blockbuster, go to indie movies only." And now Blockbuster's having this resurgence as a memory of a lost time or what? Yeah.
Well, the best thing about it is after talking to Sandy out at Blockbuster in Oregon, they were always a franchise store. So they were always a mom and pop anyway. So it's great that the mom and pop one is the last one.
Yes.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I thought that was a really cool bit of history. Also, I thought that was really interesting because
so I've got an episode coming out that you talk about the indie stores to give a quick plug to that because I'm thinking about it with the guys at Scarecrow Video. Have you ever heard of Scarecrow Video?
No.
So they're a video store in Seattle that is now the National Archive. They're a nonprofit for physical media. They have 140,000 VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and Laserdisc for rent.
That's amazing.
Their entire shtick is they want to bring it out into the community. So they do live screening nights at local theaters and coffee shops and bring, obscure movies that they might have the last copy of.
That's so cool.
They actually have more titles than the Library of Congress has on record.
That's so cool.
And so I had a guy from there on, someone just on Twitter went, "You should talk to this guy." And he came on the show and that's going to be a great show. So that's really cool.
You should hit up I Love Video. They're an Austin independent video rental store. Apparently the largest video store in the world.
Oh, so please send me that so I remember it because
for sure.
It's 1 a.m. for me, so I won't remember that, but please send that to me.
It's actually it's connected to the improv theater that
then I have to talk to them.
Yeah.
So not to go back in time, tell me a little bit about the improv stuff.
Yeah, so when I got to Framingham State, I was feeling really disconnected from y'all, right? Y'all were getting you were all in that point where okay, we're either graduating or we are in our senior year and shit is getting serious. And I mean everybody but Chris, right? Chris was still running around with his pants off.
He still does.
Right, exactly. I was gonna say he is nearing 40.
Dude, the video he showed at the post-Thanksgiving at Mike's house this year, which was supposed to be a more family-friendly one because everyone's kids were there, had at least 7 pictures of you and him with your pants off in it. It's I tried.
Right. Hey, were they just pants off or were they full-on butts?
It was just full butts.
Okay, I was going to say.
It was full butts.
I was going to say, there are plenty of pictures of us in our underwear. I mean.
No, it was full butts.
Full butts, great. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, But anyway, so y'all were on this different wavelength than I was at yet, right? And so at Framingham, the kids that had the most fun were the theater kids. And I think that's pretty much true in most every other place, right? It's either the punks or the theater kids are having the most fun.
And they're usually the same group.
Right. In any given area, they're typically the same and also having the most fun. And so there were very few punks at Framingham State College.
No.
I know. Crazy.
Not a whole lot of punk rockers hanging out at the Natick collection.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Turns out nobody wants to go to a school of 3,000 to, overthrow the system.
Nope.
And so
we're in a small town, which is a city now.
Yep.
That's right.
Framingham's a city now. We're in a small town that just kind of works and everybody's happy. Down with the system.
Right. And so I met up with the theater club, and all the cool kids in theater were doing improv. Everyone
that
else
is true.
It's something I've always wanted to do, actually, which is why I'm asking questions about
honest
it.
to God, do it. It like the stuff that you learn in improv is all the shit that like we've all been yelling at each other and ourselves and our friends for years. Like, just shut up, stop thinking about it, and say yes. Is like the core tenet of everything, right? It's like,
well, and like,
let's see where this goes.
Right. And it's that being able to change direction and just do whatever needs to be done in whatever moment, and like respond naturally and respond sincerely. And teaching for the last 10 years, I have had no better training for teaching than improv.
Well, I was going to say, because improv makes complete sense to me for Mike.
Sure.
Because I mean, outside of, honing the craft and, figuring out, okay, what's funny for everybody and not just funny for me but that's a different thing. But, I just from talking to you, Stephanie, that seems like something that would have been way outside of your comfort zone. So is that why you did it?
Yeah.
Or
I did it because my friends were doing it. So I was a competitive figure skater for my whole life until
oh wow,
that kind of freshman sophomore year of college, when I was told it was time for me to be done. And I didn't know anything besides skating, then going to school, then skating. And then you wake up the next morning and you skate, and then you go to school and then you skate. So like I had been doing that for so many years that I didn't know what to fill my time with, and theater filled that time for me. So I was like, oh, theater is fun, and theater is another competitive thing that I'm going to feel terrible about myself for the next 30 years about. So I love it. Where else can you be judged so harshly about things that you have no control over?
Yeah.
The other place. So I just did as much as I could in that theater group, and I pushed my limits, and I made friends, and my friends started doing improv. We started the improv group at the college. So I said, cool. And we were all kind of learning it together. So it was just fun, and it was silly, and it made me some forever friends.
That's awesome. Yeah. I attribute meeting, Mike and Chris and that group of people as kind of breaking my shell open. Sure. So that's why, because you find me in high school, I wouldn't sing in public. I wouldn't, dance around like a jackass in public to make someone laugh. I was the quiet kid, I was the quiet kid, or like the glue in a group of friends that was just there, not really doing much, just kind of like, hanging out. And these guys, pointed me into, no, dude, just have fun. Just have fun. Like, so I'll do karaoke now, and I love it. I didn't even know I could sing. I didn't even know I could sing till I started going to lab shows. And then Mike's like, get up here. You know all the words. And I'm like, oh, fuck, really? All right. Shit. And I do this now. Okay, cool. So I think that's really cool. That whole story like led to a D&D podcast of all things.
Well, so it was insane, right? Because growing up and all the way through college, and like probably for 3 or 4 years after college, like D&D was the worst thing that anyone could do, right? Like you couldn't be dorkier. That was
right. Of course.
And all of a sudden, I don't know, LARPing became a thing that everyone knew about. It entered the public vernacular, right? And so all of a sudden the pressure's off D&D. And so like us kids that play D&D in like elementary and middle school are like, wait, we might be able to like talk about this in public. Like we don't have to whisper.
For reference on the coolness of D&D, the theater teacher at the school that I work at stopped me. I don't think I told you this. Stopped me the other day in the parking lot. She was like, "Oh, I just have to tell you, one of my kids came up to me and said, Miss Crugnola is so cool because she plays D&D."
That right there, we won. That's what that means.
Exactly. Nerds won. fucking deal with
Right.
it.
So you had that high. Wait until you guys are seeing Endgame tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wait until you sit in a theater and look around as you're enjoying that movie and just going, holy shit. Like, how do we keep winning? How no, it's really the truth. It's like how am I not having to do this in some creepy freaking basement of a comic shop somewhere?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid I'm gonna get beat up.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Like the difference between just the first Spider-Man movie. It came out when I was 17, right? And the hype for fucking Captain Marvel. Like the hype for Black Panther.
Well, I remember taking
the hype for fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I remember leaving school early to go see Spider-Man with my friend Jared,
Dude,
and being called, you know, a faggot. I'll just say it flat out for going, and I hate that word, for going to see a superhero movie, and I'm like, really? Like,
yes.
Number one, who gives a shit if I am, and number two, like, what the hell?
I mean, like
half my kids were dismissed at 10 a.m. today so that they could go see Endgame.
And
the other half was pissed about it.
So my brother got me into the critic screening on Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So I told work, I'm leaving at 1 p.m. And my boss goes, "Are you going to see Endgame?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Awesome." Yeah, right.
I love that.
So I have to admit that I wasn't in the Marvel universe. I had seen like the first Iron Man or whatever. But I don't know. I lose track of a lot of pop culture stuff, movies, because I don't like going to a movie theater that much. So noise, public, you know.
I get it.
I love punk shows. So I just hadn't seen any of them, and I had friends in Denver who wanted to go see Black Panther. So I was like, I can't say no to friends right now because I have 3. And we went, and I went home and I told Mike, I was like, I need to watch all of them. I need to see everything because it was so good. And also in the post-credit scene when everyone was like, I was like, I don't get it, and I hate being left out. So
it's amazing how well oiled they've made that, where they get the general public to go, I want to understand now.
Mm-hmm. We watched in the next like month and a half. We watched all of the
holy shit
movies, and then we saw Infinity War.
She is downplaying what we did. I was in Denver for 3 weeks. 4 of those days I was snowboarding. So the other 16 days is where we watched all of the Marvel movies.
No, it took us like a little bit longer than
watching all the movies. So I had a story because you were talking about watching them all.
Yeah.
When we went and saw Black Panther, there were these 3 like elderly white women. I'll just say it flat out, with like the big hats.
Yeah.
All like, and we went to a little local indie theater to see it. So they had obviously, you know, just walked in and picked a movie off the list. Right. And they were blown away by this movie. They were laughing and applauding and just having a great time. So they tapped my friend Tim on the shoulder at the end of the movie. And they said, "That was fantastic. Are there any other movies like it?" Like, not kidding. And so Tim and Corinne's faces just light right up, and they go, "Well, there's actually like 19 of them."
Right.
Like,
so good.
And they were so happy. They were like, "We want to see them all." And then they had heard of some of them but didn't know they tied in.
Sure.
They were like, "Oh, okay, that," and so it was adorable.
That
and they were so happy.
Well, I am those old ladies, because that's how I felt after Black Panther.
Cool, man. So because one kid's awoken, that means another one will wake up soon.
Of course.
That's just my life.
Right.
So what I was going to say is you know, number one, this has been awesome. Number two, I'd like to do this more, because even just Skyping like this is kind of the only way that I keep up with people anymore. And I hate that that's life now, but it's what it is. What was I going to say is you guys have been doing this for a long time now, 3 years, but like and again, it doesn't have to be like your favorite moment, but do each of you guys have like a moment with the show that's just like something that was like, either it was behind the scenes or a during thing that's just like something super fun that you want to mention or something that just sticks with you?
For me, we had never played in person with each other ever before. And last year, we were trying to get a spot in Portland Comic-Con in Maine. And it fell through, but we had all already booked our trip. And so we just went to Anthony's house. And we recorded the year 2 finale at his kitchen table. There were snacks. There was soda. It felt like a real home game D&D. There were also microphones. Everything got recorded. And it just, the energy of being in the same room and playing with these people that I fucking love to death, and have been playing with for 2 years, you know, like distantly, in the same room is the best thing.
Yeah. I think for me, besides the fact that these are friends that I had in college and then just kind of lost most touch with for a few years and then just got so close to again, has been really great. And I think D&D has made me so much better at so many of the things that I love to do. Like, I think D&D has made me a better improviser. D&D has made me a better actor. D&D has made me a better writer. Like, all of the things that I like to do anyway, it has made me better at, because it's such, and I think a lot of that is because Anthony is such an amazing storyteller that we are so part of his world. So like, just the character commitment, the decisions that he makes us make, and you know, on a dime, and then just being able to write short stories or write the journals or write anything, it just has made me better at the things I love to do, which is, it was unexpected. We'll
Sure.
say
That's
that,
awesome.
but it's very cool.
Yeah.
Now that brings me to a point that I didn't even think I had, but did you guys get to create your characters like a normal D&D game, or did he have? That's awesome. So he created the world, but you guys still get to create how you lived within it, like a regular game.
Yeah.
And so when we started, I told Anthony, I am not playing a leader. I am playing comic relief. That is it.
Mischief the whole time.
Right. I was just like, I refuse to be the party leader just because I like understand the game and like I know what we're trying to do. I'm just going to try and fuck it up the whole time. And he goes, that's not how it's going to happen. Like, they're going to look to you to lead them, and you're going to have to. And
Mikey, who plays Kath, had also never played D&D before.
Right.
So
really?
That was 2 out of the 5 who weren't gonna know what they were doing. So like,
and
sorry,
so
Mike.
I was trying to pass the buck on being the leader character, because like nobody wants to be that guy. And so like I tried to avoid it as fucking hard as I could. I was like, no, Steph's playing the high charisma character, you know, Mike's playing the strong-willed character, like Rob's been playing D&D a long time, Josh has been playing D&D a long time, and like we get there and Rob has built Raphael basically, like from the Ninja Turtles. And so like he is never gonna lead a party because he barely wants to be in the party, his character, right? And like Steph's like, so my sorcerer is super shy and really unsure of herself and doesn't like really want to be adventuring, and is like has to.
I don't think that last part is true. But
That's pure love right there.
And so I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to be the party leader. It's so like halfway through the first like real session, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be how it's gonna be. And so like my character has just decided to try to pass the buck in every situation from
And
the
fails.
jump. Right. And he
Yeah.
super fails. And so finally he just has to like, one day maybe he might finally accept the fact that he has to like be the guy.
I remember listening back to you having to name the adventuring group.
Right. Like everyone's like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, fuck.
The many pennies. That's when I knew that like this was the show for me, because I'm just like, man.
So stupid.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was just like, this is how I play D&D.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to say something stupid right now.
It's so dumb. And so like Gebetto's whole first, like his first move always is terrible. And so like when people back it, he doesn't know what to do because it's such a bad choice. Like, why would you do this to me?
So my longest running D&D character was a dark elf named Gareth Gobblecock. Coque.
Sure.
As it were. Gobblecock.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Spit
And
all
I
over
had
my microphone.
that's what happens when Gareth's around. It
Right,
just,
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that's right in the name, baby.
no, but yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, wow.
So
This
yeah,
is nuts.
it just we had never. I don't think any of us really believed that it was going to last 5 years.
I did not. Definitely did not.
And here we are, year 3, and like cannot fucking wait, like to see what happens next. So
That's awesome. Neither can I. And I'm sad that I missed some of it.
that's, hey, the nice thing about that is that just means you've got plenty of stuff to catch up on.
Yeah. That newer big battle was crazy.
Spicy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots changed in the middle of those chunks there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we put out a yearly recap every year. So if folks are nervous about jumping into 160 episodes, there are 3 annual recaps in our like backlog of episodes. So you could just listen to those 3 recaps and then, hop in with the newest arc and go back on your own time to kind of fill in those details. So
It's a good way of doing stuff. I always like the recaps, even just the regular ones that he does from time to time with like the random sound clips of you guys that are just fucking gold.
Stupid shit. Yeah. It's the best. Chippa, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for having
thank
us.
you guys. I'm really glad, and sorry we didn't make it happen the other night. That was kind of wacky.
No worries.
But
like I would way rather be recording on a Friday night anyway.
Right, me too.
Because I don't have to worry about getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
So except to watch soccer.
Yeah, there is that.
But, yeah.
So do you guys have anything outside of your own show that you wanna plug, or do you want to plug? This is your opportunity to talk to thousands of people. I swear.
Woo.
Honestly, right now, like Adventure Incorporated is the creative outlet that I have. And
doesn't it feel great?
Oh my
to have
God.
a creative outlet?
Sure does.
It feels great to have just one, like, and
right.
like, focus on it and be like completely driven to like
and have it also be something that's super fun,
right?
And gets you together with your friends. Like, what more could you want?
Nothing, honestly. And so, listen to the show, hang out in our Discord. Our Discord is super fucking fun. Come to Dragon Con and let's hang out, have a couple of beers so you're loose and you can party with us. And
Mike will drink 1 root beer for every beer you drink. Yep. I swear.
Hell yeah, I will. Hell yeah,
he'll do it.
I'll go drink for drink with anybody. I don't give a shit. My belly will be aching too.
Yeah, I will. That's a lot of sugar.
But yeah, that's really all I've got. Steph?
If you are in the Providence, Rhode Island area on May 26th, even though I live in Texas, I still run a Shakespeare group out in New England. And we are doing The Merry Wives of Windsor on Sunday, May 26th at 2 p.m. in Slater Park. It's going to be really silly. We do a 1 rehearsal show. So we rehearse all day Saturday and then do the show on Sunday. and we did it last year, and it was brilliant. And so we're doing it again. So
I love that.
It's
And
free.
Shakespeare has to be done in a park too. There's
Right.
just something about it.
It's also BYOB. I don't know if that's actually true. So if it is if it's not, I mean, it's BYOB in like a cooler, or pretend you're in college and mix it with your Gatorade, like back in the day.
Yes. It's a bring your own hidden B.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
But
don't
it's
be
also,
dumb.
Right. Exactly. Don't get us kicked out. It's also Real Housewives themed.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to show up cosplaying some Real Housewives,
there will be a leopard couch.
Will there be some tables to flip?
Maybe. You will have to come and find out. I don't know if that's in our budget, but there will be a laundry basket and a leopard couch. That's as far as I've gotten.
This is awesome. You guys are nuts. I love it.
But yeah, so Steph will be flying out Friday night to put on a show Sunday,
flying home on Monday
with a rehearsal on Saturday. She'll fly home on Monday, and then fingers crossed we'll be flying to Madrid on Tuesday.
Nice.
Yeah,
because the people who literally cannot slow down bought a house, but also cannot slow down. So
yeah, I mean, I was going to say, someone with you is either going to have to already be like you in that respect or catch up. I think when I saw it, because your Twitter name is I Live Faster, right? Is that
used to be? I felt like I was slowing down.
Maybe your aim was?
Everything
I just remember seeing
so
that
long.
And I'm like, yeah, this is obviously Mike.
For so long, everything was I Live Faster. Now I'm on Twitter at Future X Skeleton. Because I felt like I was getting old.
I gotta find you so I can tag you in this when I post it.
Yeah. Also on the Instagrams, I got a Fitbit recently, or not a Fitbit, but like a smartwatch, and I've been tweeting a lot about my experiences with that. It's the first time I've ever used Twitter for anything other than like talking about the show. So.
It's the only reason I have a Twitter is to talk about my shows.
If you're a combination fitness and D&D nerd, I might be a good follow for you. Otherwise, probably ignore me.
Cool, man. Well, I'm going to pass out. So I want to thank you guys again for being on. Thank you for shooting the shit with Chippa, as it were.
Dude, this has been great.
Yeah,
dude, I appreciate it. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Stephanie. And it's awesome to catch up with you, Mike. It's been way too long.
Right? Come visit. And we'll come visit too.
You should. If you that'd be awesome. Especially
come to Fantastic Fest, dog.
When is that?
Fantastic Fest is right in your fucking alley too.
I know what it is. When is it?
Let's see. 2019 is September.
Oh yeah, you have the fucking Alamo Draft House and all that shit. You lucky bastard.
That's where we're going to see.
Tomorrow. Then you'll get to see the lobby where they have all of the cutouts of the Avengers that are still alive at the end of Infinity War, and on a table in front of them they have the ashes of all the ones that are dead.
I love that. I don't know if we'll get to see that one because the draft house that we're going to is a very small one. It is the original one downtown. So
that's super cool. So this is the part where I plug all my crap because I want to bore you. So I'm the Chippa. I do the Chipman Brothers Tangent with my brother Movie Bob. Creating Geeks, a parenting podcast of great responsibility with my wife Sarah. The Talkbuster podcast, which we've talked about a bunch on this, and Shooting the Shit with Chippa, which is what you've been listening to right now. So if you like any of that, check them out. I also started doing the last 2 days a daily video log kind of thing called Chippa in the Third Person, where I've been just talking about whatever. The first episode was about a sense of community involving Avengers Endgame. I talked about going to PAX East, and like I just said to you guys, seeing all those people standing in line and going, crap, we would have never had something when we were kids, or even in the, like you said, when LARPing took off and all of a sudden D&D became the thing that people weren't focused on, punching people over for long enough to bring us all together like that. And now, they're selling out convention centers, right? It's awesome. And so my whole shtick is positivity. and community, and just, try. I try to be someone on Twitter and on YouTube that's not a jerk, is basically the whole thing. So
hell yeah.
Thank you guys for shooting the shit with Chippa, and Mike and Stephanie. I hope to talk to you soon, and I'll see Gibetto and Genevera very soon, and on Monday, actually.
Yeah.
New episode. Adventure Incorporated, Mondays.
We haven't missed one yet. 3 years,
It's
baby.
fucking wild.
Right? 3 years,
All right.
6 people's different schedules.
I don't even understand it. I don't understand how I do so much either. I sit back and I go, I'm now releasing a show every week. How do I do that?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And I have 2 kids.
Right? Good job.
Anyway.
Paul. Proud of you.
I'm proud of you guys, dude. House is the first step, and then all the other chaos comes afterwards.
Right.
All right. Cheers. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.